Well guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been a little while, it's been a long while since I've done anything with a camera as far as this project goes. Why? I needed to get some progress done, and realistically what I was doing was very repetitive, so I just turned the cameras off and was just getting it done. It's been a bit of a roller coaster because it felt like I was getting nowhere, but I think now I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. So at the moment, I'm just going to run you through what I've done in the last, I don't know, might be even 2 months since I pressed record. We have the structure pretty well complete and all coated, so I'm effectively ready to start spot welding all of this together. The puzzle's sort of been made, and I think I have it nutted out. So I think last time, like, I can't even remember what, I should probably have looked at the last video to see where I was at, but all my A pillar, sill and B pillar sections are all welded together. I have my, I don't know what you'd even call that part, a section, the A pillar built up of 3 pieces effectively. This rear piece, the front windshield piece, and the rear windshield piece. That creates the A pillar. So that is stitched to my lower A pillar hinge section, and then my whole gutter rail, I'll show you a few overlays of this in closer detail. So I've constructed my whole gutter rail and roof structure. That is fixed to plates that then get spot welded to my inner windshield, all rust repaired. Everything is rust repaired. I still need to stitch that, but that's just panel work. Across the top of, I've got to start pulling this off and apart, and then copper weld through primer all my flanges. I might do that now anyway as I speak. So huge amount of hours gone into this, and like I said before, it really felt like I was getting nowhere, and I'm like itching to get away and do what I love and go camping. I actually got a night away last night. If you're following the channel, you would have seen the rooftop tent reviews. So been out for a couple quick one-nighters just locally to get a bit of a fix for doing what I actually like doing. Not that I don't like doing this, but this is pretty overwhelming. But we're at the point now where I need to, my process was get the rust repair done, get all the bulk of the structure, or get all the structure done and get it coated. So then we basically taped up all my flanges that will be spot welded, because I didn't want to effectively waste time buffing paint off where I'm going to spot weld the whole lot. And now I'm at the point where I'll tape onto the primer and then spray the copper rust, the weld through primer onto the inside of my flanges. I don't need to do the outside, because that, once it's all together, spot welded together, all the seams, then I will prep it and then epoxy prime that as well. So I'm only concerned about the inside, because you want metal on metal contact for a weld, obviously. I think that piece can come off. So the way that the structure will be put together, and that's been a bit of a puzzle in itself, because I don't want to have anything other than spot welds if I can help it, because I don't want to put too much heat, which will then remove the coating on the inside where I can't get back to. That's been a massive challenge, I guess. I'm not sure if I'm overkilling it, but I don't want to have rust issues in the future. And it's not the sort of car that I want to just flog off in a raffle or something. If we can get this out of here. So at the moment, it's just held together with a handful of Clecos. and that is solid. I'm very impressed with how solid it is. So that was a win. So I'm thinking my process of construction will be sill panels and A-pillar structure will go on first onto the side of the car. Second will be my gutter and roof structure, because then I'll link these two joins up like I have the bottom. And then internal windshield piece, external windshield piece, and I'm thinking I might even be able to put my external windshield piece with my two A-pillar skins on as a big piece and slide it down over top, over like that, and then it will just be literally spot welds to fix all that on there. So that's what I'm thinking. That piece may or may not work. We may just have to have a weld around the corner here. But we will suck it and see. I'm pretty certain wouldn't have been in the last video either. All my spreader left to right section is all stitched in, spot welded in. My firewall, top of firewall section is all finished, other than I want to seam seal things, so it just stops moisture getting into the seam. I also put in a couple extra supports that are perfectly in line with the external ones, so that will give strength for the bonnet hinge right next to it. It'd also keep that nice and straight as well. Even if the bonnet didn't hinge from there, I probably would have put them in, but that was a bit of a late inclusion. So then that'll just be, I think, 3 spot welds onto that plenum panel and front windshield panel, which will hold it nice and sturdy in the middle, in between the bottom and top section. These pieces took a fair bit of working out as well. Not only have you got to make a structure like strong, but you also got to think about waterproofing and dustproofing as well. So where's your pinch weld seal going to go? Is it going to seal onto the door in the right spot? Is your door gaps correct? All of these little things are just like, I sort of get lost, and I sort of get probably carried away with thinking about too many steps forward. But I think we're onto it now. Then seatbelt mounts, like all these things have got the tick of approval from the engineer. He's been really good. Hinge mounts, like things that aren't even actually going to be used, as far as the windscreen will not hinge, but it will still appear to. So it will look fucking sick. Who am I kidding? But yeah, it's just been a pretty big mind game as well, trying to think that I'm getting somewhere where it may not look like I am. As far as the back wall goes and quarter panels, they're just skins effectively, so they haven't been too difficult to sort of work out. With my roof structure here, it's basically 2 sections, 2 U-shaped section, one wraps around the other. The gutter section, I've actually got a little piece I was stuffing around with when I bought the shrinker stretchers. So this won't actually fit that nice, but that will be where the roof sits. That's the contour of the roof. Sits down in there and gets spot welded right along like that. I actually borrowed a spot welder, which has been a massive help. I spot welded this whole thing to get the gutter to this section, and I actually cheated a little bit, or made it a little bit easier for myself, and got these CNC pressed, this U section and then that gutter section, and I did it at a 1.6. It's a little bit gutsier. I thought that wouldn't be a bad thing if I'm mounting things off the gutter. And then created these corners to suit the roof contour, and it also keeps the consistent gap around the B-pillar skin, so that will be consistent right around. As far as seatbelt mounts, I'm using GQ seatbelts and receivers because it's a GQ floor pan, and I had them. So I have, and this is all obviously above my head as far as specifications, but the engineer specified how to do it, which is relatively simple. It's effectively just a plate. So I just pulled the one out of the GQ, unstitched it from the GQ pillars. That's the bottom one. Not sure if that's focusing. Then that will get stitched into down here, so bottom mount, and it has to be on a certain angle for the way that there's an angle on the retractable part. And then that's just a similar sort of thing, bolted in. Happy days, relatively simple. I thought I was going to be stressed. I was stressing a little bit about legalities of how strong it's going to be, etc., etc. So that's pretty well what the last 2 months have entailed. Of some fairly, a fair bit of time's been spent doing that. Where I'm at now, like I said at the start, I need to tape up all my flanges again, but tape up over the primer, just so I'm I keep saying that, weld through primer the internal of each flange, and then after that I can start stitching it up. So that's basically where we're at the moment. Once again, it's not going to be that exciting to watch me taping up things, so I won't sit you through that. So that's where I'm at. Like I said, this video is to show that the project's still happening, and it still has, I'm just fucking giving up on it. Although sometimes I sort of want to. Yeah, I'm not going to sit you through me taping up and weld through primering anything flanges, because that'd bore the shit out of you. But once that's done, and I've prepped all my sills, I've prepped all my flanges, we're going straight ahead and spot welding it all together. So that is an exciting time, because then I've got a bucket full of Clecos back, and we've got a solid structure we can work from. And working forwards from something is just actually something else I did work on was door closers. A G60 from factory, they used to sit under the door and to the bottom of the floor pan, which I don't have the option to, and it was a bit of an agricultural method. So I've gone and sourced some, I went and sourced some internal pillar, goes internal to the door, I guess, but bolts to the pillar like a traditional normal car these days. These were from a VZ Commodore. I actually got them back and I thought, geez, they're stiff. Like, it feels like putting way too much pressure onto with the door and the A-pillar. And someone messaged me on the socials, Matt, he actually come and had a look at the project originally. So if you're watching, thank you very much for your insight. He actually messaged saying, oh, they look like, I think they're a VZ or a VY Commodore door stay. I wouldn't use them if I were you. I've repaired a heap of A-pillars because they crack out because they're so stiff. So I'm like, oh, that'd be right. I grabbed the one that's not ideal to use. So I thought, well, I've got them now. I'll pull them apart, and you can sort of pull these tabs apart and have a look in there. And I managed to reset the springs with heat through the vise and take a bit of height out of them, and they're pretty damn nice to use now. So I think they'll work. I went to U-Pull It. It's a wrecking place. You can go and pull it off yourself in South Australia, and I wasn't, that's another half a day that you're losing in here going to source some more that might be shit as well. So I'm glad they come up all right. All these little bits, and it's just so labour intensive. So once this is together, I'm going to be stoked, and to work on just panels then and not structure will be an absolute joy. Next, hopefully the episodes start to roll out a little bit more. The project's still going. I'm still spending huge hours on it, but it just needed to happen. Needed to just turn the camera off and get shit done. So next episode will be hopefully spot welding everything together. So stick around. Hopefully it's still interesting you. It hasn't dragged on for too long, but yeah, thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.